Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Fenway Park.
The Red Sox's bats were red hot as they scored 11 or more runs for the fourth straight game in defeating Houston, 11-1 on May 12th in 2016. They were the first team to score in double figures in 4 straight games since 2007, and by also collecting 14 or more hits in all 4 games, to match a feat last performed by the 1930 Philadelphia Athletics. On May 12, 2000, Pedro Martinez punished the Baltimore Orioles 9-0, struck out 15. He tied an American League record for strikeouts in consecutive games with 32. It was his first shutout of the season, having just allowed just 1 run in his last 26 innings. 1 year ago, Pedro struck out 15 batters for the second consecutive game in a 9-2 victory over the Seattle Mariners on May 12th in 1999. On May 12, 1976, the self-avowed witch from Salem, Lori Cabot, brought her special powers to Cleveland to help the Red Sox beat the Indians 6-4 and breaking a losing streak. It took 12 innings for Yaz to drive in the winning run with a sacrifice fly. In Detroit, the Sox came from behind and left Detroit with the 11-inning 4-3 win. Dick McAuliffe beat his former teammates by making a game-saving catch of a wind-blown pop-up in the 9th inning with 2 men on. He then doubled in the winning run in the 11th inning. Against the Tigers at Fenway on May 12th in 1967, the Sox looked more like the Keystone Cops than a baseball team. With John Wyatt on the mound and Al Kaline trying to steal second, catcher Bob Tillman rifled the ball down to second. The only problem was that Wyatt turned around to see the play, and the ball hit him off the back of his head and ricocheted all the way to the batter's circle. By the time it was retrieved, Kaline had come all the way around to score. It was the signature moment of how sloppy the Sox had looked thus far in the young season. In Washington on May 12, 1961, Bill Monboquet struck out 17 Senators, breaking the Sox record of 15 set by Smokey Joe Wood in 1911. Monbo came within 1 strikeout of matching the Major League record at the time of 18, held by Bob Feller and Sandy Koufax. He would have had it if Jim Pagliarone had not dropped a fouled 3rd strike in the 8th inning. On May 12, 1960, in a scoreless game with the White Sox, with the bases loaded in the 9th inning, Pete Runnels lofted a fly ball that nicked the left field wall on its descent, scoring Don G. Lee from third base. The wall ball double gave the Sox a 1-0 walk-off win. In Washington on May 12th in 1956, although the Sox lost 12-9, Dick Gernert kept them in the game with 2 home runs, 2 singles, and 6 runs batted in. Since taking over for the injured Ted Williams in left field, Gernert had slammed 8 homers and drove in 20 runs in 19 games. Mel Parnell outlasted Randy Gumpert in a 2-1, 11-inning pitchers duel in Chicago on May 12th in 1949. It started off as a 1-0 game in favor of the White Sox before Vern Stevens drove in Ted Williams with a double to tie it up in the 4th inning. Vern then slugged a home run in the 11th that put the Red Sox ahead to stay. Finally, the Sox welcomed the St. Louis Browns to town on May 12, 1928 by bombing them 15-2. The Sox had an 11-run outburst in the 3rd inning. 16 batters were sent to the plate, resulting in 8 singles and a home run from Ken Williams.